As the wind erodes and the water corrodes, altering everything we think we know, but we don't. It's all temporary, and it used to, but now the thought doesn't scare me or keep my feet from following one after another until I slumber. Then my mind, not my feet, wander and dream of people and places I'll never see again. I've mended as much mental anguish as I can, and now I try to use this language to take these thoughts from my head to my pen. Cause though I don't speak of my dead friends or the circumstances, often the blow never softens or yields. I'm in a desolate field, lonesome stargazing, night blazing, chasing traces of remembrance and reverence of relevant friends and acquaintances, and faceless and nameless names and faces. And while my mind is racing through these photo albums and quotations, all these people and places far from me, for only land and stars I see when I'm outside of the mile-high city, which is not my city, for I was born 1,000 miles northeast of there, in the land of beer and lakes and pistol fire on MLK's birthday, where there is no minorities and segregation's mandatory. But that's a whole nother story altogether, and no matter the weather or hardships that any place brings, I'll still laugh when people shiver and say it's freezing, or say, hey, no wait, I already had 18 mixed drinks, but I guess it's a Midwest thing, and I'm a mess from a dirty city and brought most of this filth I've gathered with me.
Welcome to another episode of Experience Andy Weins Live, and this week we're going to go all in on gratitude. Today, it's all about how gratefulness leads to greatness. Over the last 6 months, I've been really focusing on gratefulness, and through this time, I've had some unintended consequences that I want to share with you today, coming up after the verse.
My work labors on as lovers sleep in each other's arms, remaining calm and collect. I begin my self-reflection process of redemption. Honestly, I don't know where this road leads, or if I'm even going. Could be rowing upstream, or worse, chasing my dreams to the peak, to finally be somebody doing something with what I have, rather than saying again and again that I can't and I won't anymore from this day forward. Cause Lord knows the past is set in stone, the present is yours to mold and to use for future uses. I know I'm a nuisance, I'm told, cause I'm neither young nor giant nor gnome. I don't sleep on these streets usually, though I've made thrones of my own. I don't sit well with idle hands, though don't know what to do when I'm home all alone. I'm a menace thrown from society, and as it lies to me, I'll smile silently as others do as they please. I am watching and listening, and I'm grinning all the while, cause sometimes all you can really do is smile. So as the work labors on, I'll keep on singing my songs, and this day's never done. We just keep on spinning around that sun, and well, through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.
Here we are, another week experiencing Andy Weins Live. This week, if you didn't notice, I am standing up because I have been comfortable sitting in my chair behind my screens, watching myself on the camera, and I know that comfort is the enemy of progress. So from today and now on, I'm going to be standing, because in the discomfort of standing and presenting myself authentic, unapologetic, naked to the world, I know I'll deliver a better performance, and I'm more creative. The blood's flowing. Life is much better when I'm standing up and showing up to the world. As always, I like to start with a moment of gratitude. And this week, I am extremely grateful for an individual. His name is Rob Weiss. He hired me last week. He reached out to me months ago and hired me and brought me on to do a BYAB, which is Best Young and Brightest in the recycling industry, as part of the wasted or is part of REMA, which is the Recycled Materials Association. And I was the keynote speaker, and I led a workshop last week down in Mobile, Alabama, as part of their BYAB annual event, and it went swimmingly well. So it's my life's passion to share my love of words and language with the world, and he gave me an opportunity to do it, and it was for me a real feather in the cap. And moreover, I'm appreciative because the response from the audience members during the event, people were engaged. After the event, they were engaged, and later at dinner, I found myself at a table and people were coming up to me telling me all that they learned. And so I was extremely grateful that he gave me that opportunity, untested, unproven. He gave me the opportunity to be successful, and we had a very successful event for that. So I appreciate him. Order of business, speaking. This is the time of year that people are booking keynotes for next year. Keynotes workshop, my 4-hour leadership, the language of leadership workshop is something I spent a lot of time and energy on. I built it. We had a great experience last week. 2 weeks ago, I spoke at an event here in Milwaukee. I did a 45-minute version with 15 minutes of Q&A. And the feedback I got from several people was, I wish it was longer. I wish we could have done more. And so the 4-hour workshop, the language of leadership, which is empowering those mid-level leaders, those individuals that we want to be tomorrow's leaders, empowering them through language so that they can articulate themselves and build their business careers by changing one word at a time. Because my life's mission is to change the world one word at a time. Let's talk about words. Gratefulness leads to greatness. This entire episode here was sparked by a thought, a text message, not even a thought, a text message I received from my executive assistant on Friday. On Friday, I applied for the Titan 100 awards. Last year, I won the award, and this year, it's one of my top priorities, personal priorities and goals. It's one of my rocks, my personal rocks, to win Titan 100 again, because it's a community I'm really proud to be part of. I'm excited to be part of that community, and I'm very grateful that they opened their doors to me, being a blue-collar worker in a white-collar kind of industry and a kind of world. And so I'm really appreciative and grateful that they allowed me the opportunity to win last year, and I really want to win this year. And so Emmy, my executive assistant, after we wrote it up and went through it all, she's smart and much better than I am behind the computer. So she's the one that did the final application. And afterwards, it was a simple text message, hey, thank you again for everything this week, right? Have a great weekend. And she came back and texted me, I'm grateful to be in your life. So where I was having a transactional conversation with her, right, she was transcending beyond that. She was speaking to the relationship that her and I have. So to back it up, 3+ years ago, Emmy came on as a 20-hour a month executive assistant, and then it turned into 30 hours and eventually 40 hours. And a lot of times in my life, I've realized as I'm reading more and understanding the world more, I graduate from people. As I go through life, the people that served me at one point eventually no longer serve me and where I want to go. I'm leveling up. I'm breaking ceilings. I'm 10xing my life. I'm currently reading 10x is easier than 2x. And as I'm reading this, I'm understanding more and more how I got where I'm at today. And often in my life, what I'm realizing is I've graduated from groups of people in search of that next destiny, in search of that next journey. So 12 years ago, I was all about the Army, and I had this group of core Army people I was very grateful for, and they led me to greatness. And eventually I got to a point where the Army was no longer focus. And then I became a business owner, and I surrounded myself with some amazing people there. My brother Isaac was my business partner at the time, and people I deployed to Gitmo with came on as employees, and I built this great company there. And eventually I graduated my life from that. And 3 years ago, I met Emmy, and I was in a weird spot in my life, and she came into my life, and I was grateful to have her. And along the way, these people, when I'm grateful to have them around me, have led me to greatness. And from time to time, I then also level up. And what got me here ain't going to keep me where I'm going, right? It got me there, and there is no longer the place I want to be. I want to go to the next level. There's also some people in my life, my mom, for example, who's been there since day one, and she's carried me through all these years. I have two buddies that have been with me through a lot of transitions in my life. And as I focused the last 6 months on gratefulness, I've been seeking out gratitude. It's that old adage, right? Think about a red car, you're going to find a red car. What I realize now with gratitude is when I look back at relationships and where they were, I was extremely grateful to be in certain relationships with certain people for a time. And then over time, I no longer had gratitude for them. I no longer saw the things that they were doing that were great for me. And in some cases, because there was an attrition. They stopped being that person that I was in love with, or they stopped being that business partner that was ambitious, right? And at other times, I changed and I wanted to level up. I wanted to go next level. I want to take the business somewhere. I want to take the relationship somewhere, right? Personally or professionally. And all of a sudden, what I was grateful for, now I was no longer grateful for. I did not have gratitude. So, for example, I've had friends through the years, right? We go out to the bars. Hell, this weekend I was at a retirement party for a guy I was in the army with. It was at a brewery because that's how we do things in Wisconsin. And I was hanging out with a couple of the guys, and they're like, "Man, you used to be able to go hard." Yeah, I haven't had a drink in 18 months. I used to go really hard when I went out drinking. I used to party and could keep up with everybody, right? And I used to drink and because I no longer served me. And when I quit drinking, I lost some friends along the way. So those people that used to amp me up and pump me up and buy me shots made me great at the time. And for them, I was grateful. And when I updated my life, I was no longer grateful for them. There's people I haven't seen in months or even years now that I've stepped away from alcohol. And it's no different than business. Last year, I went through a huge transformation. I was known for 20 years as Andy motherfucking Weins or Andy fucking Weins or Andy MF Weins or AFW. Yesterday, I was at a celebration of life for a guy I used to work with in radio 13 years ago. Great man, Ian McCain, good buddy. I saw him a month ago. Mysterious illness, something happened. And we had a great celebration of life. And people that knew me, right, said Andy fucking Weins or AFW. Hell, I got a card from a woman I went to her wedding a couple months back, and it said Andy MF Weins, right? Because that was the person I was. I was this person that wanted to be larger than life. I wanted to be this person that was eccentric and over the top, right? I wanted to fill all the space and all the dead air in the room. And I was grateful for the people that pumped me up. And then 18 months ago, when my book was coming out, I said, I no longer want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that's dropping F-bombs and yells and screams and, right? I want to be known for my thought leadership. I want to be known for the guy that brings people in, not projects out. And so the people that got me there, I was no longer grateful for because they wanted to keep me there. And I no longer express gratitude with those people. And it's that old adage, right? Who are the people that show up when you stop showing up for them? So when I stop texting them or calling them, I stop hearing from them. When I stop showing up as the joker and the jester and the people they wanted me to be, they stop being there. And there's other people like Brad Herda or Mervyn Bird, very important people to me in my life that have seen me through these transitions. And no matter who I showed up as being, what area of greatness I wanted to be, they were there for me. So I have gratitude towards Brad Herda. He's the guy that I call when I have a big win or a big loss. He's the guy that keeps me level-headed. Mervyn Bird is my business coach. He's been my business coach for the last 4.5 years. He's been my mentor for over 8 years because he went from being a Marine to a business person. I thought, okay, that's the guy I want to be with. And now 8 years later, we're still together. I am grateful for him. I'm grateful for the conversations we have. I'm grateful for the monthly CEO roundtables that he hosts as part of Vistage. I'm grateful that next month I get to go on vacation with him and his wife and our entire CEO roundtable that we've gone on the last 4 years. And I'm grateful because these people make me great. And when I look back at other relationships, often the times that I had shame or I despised them or I frustration, times where I was distracted, times that I was looking other places for love and affection and attention and acceptance, is because the people I was around no longer were grateful for me and who I was. They were grateful for a piece of me. They wanted a version of me. And because they wanted this version of me that was no longer applicable for all the things I was no longer grateful. In a world of quiet quitting, I've done it. I quietly quit jobs. I've quiet quitted relationships. I quiet quitted my marriage for a year when I was deployed because it was convenient and it was comfortable. And no different than standing up here today, instead of sitting down in my comfortable spot, I no longer choose comfort. I want to find things that are uncomfortable. I want to be grateful for the greatness that people bring me. And so I want to focus my energy. I'm going to, I don't want to, right? Want is a beautiful thing, right? I want to focus my energy, my abilities, my talent, all the things that I bring this world into people, in projects, relationships that ultimately make me great, The more I lean in on how unique I am, the greater I'm going to be, more full of gratitude I'm going to be. Last week, when I stood in front of 50 some odd people I never met before, giving a 4-hour workshop for the very first time in front of a live audience, it was like playing for me. My skills and abilities met the challenge. Hungarian psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi talks about that flow. I read about it in my book. It's when your skills and ability match the challenge in front of you, you are in the flow. 10X, the book I'm writing right now, talks about how it feels like you're playing. You get to decide what the boundaries are. You decide what the rules of the game are because you are in the flow. And I'm on my flow when I'm great. And I'm great when the people around me show gratitude. Let's go back to Emmy. 2 months ago, Emmy was going to quit the third-party company that employed her, that allowed her to be my assistant for the 3 years previous. And the first couple of days, I was frustrated, and I shut down. And then a week after she quit, we're on a phone call with her company and talking about the transition period, because I'm going to go from Emmy, the assistant, to some other unknown named assistant, right? And I'm talking to the transition folks. And I told the transition folks, here's the deal. You're not going to replace Emmy. Anybody that knows me knows that Emmy, she walks on water as far as I'm concerned. She makes the world go round. She's in my ear all day, and she makes the magic happen. And I told them, my loyalty is not to your company. My loyalty is to Emmy. Emmy's been on my leadership team longer than anybody else I know. Emmy has pushed me more as an individual business owner and as a man than anybody else. Emmy has no problem telling me what other people will choose not to tell me. Emmy will hold me to the standards I hold myself to. Emmy's the most important person in our company. And now I said all these things near Emmy. And afterwards, she texts me, hey, why didn't you offer me a job? And I called her immediately. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, if you think I'm so great, why don't you offer me a job? I said, well, you know I think you're great. She goes, no, I don't. I had failed miserably. I've gone on my podcast and talked about how great Emmy is. My family, my friends, they know how great Emmy is. Coworkers here within Camo Crew and external vendors know how great Emmy is. I know how great Emmy is. And at no point did I tell Emmy how great she was. I didn't express gratitude to the person that matters most to. And when I expressed my gratitude towards her, then we developed this next relationship. It was no longer transactional. It was transcending what we had originally agreed on. Originally, she was going to be my executive assistant for 40 hours. Over the last 3 years, she's been my right-hand woman. I am where I'm at personally and professionally because of her. And I'm grateful for that. And I remember to tell her now how grateful I am. On Friday, I was grateful that she did a thing. And she came back and said, I'm grateful to be in your life. Because I saw where she was at her old company. I fixed the problem. I told her how amazing she was. And now we're a team. Now we're no longer restricted to 40 hours a month and what I can and cannot say because there's another company. No, we are a team. She is the leadership team. She's the heart and soul and brains of our business, all because I expressed gratitude. And I expressed gratitude because I started looking for gratitude. And the unintended consequence of gratitude is I've also seen the people I'm no longer grateful for. And instead of sitting here and bitching and complaining and saying what they should do, right, what they need to do different, because I have a predisposition to blame people, I can rather say I'm grateful that I had them in my life for the time that I had. I'm grateful that I learned this lesson. It's kind of like my haters, right? I'm grateful that those people told me I wasn't capable or wasn't able or wasn't going to do it. I'm grateful because that was a little bit of fuel to stoke my flame, a little bit of fire to get me going. I'm grateful for all that is around me. My challenge to you this week is find the greatness within you first. What makes you great? And then be grateful for all the people and processes and things that are around you that make you great. I'm grateful that I bought a book and I had time this last week to sit down and read a book. I'm grateful that I chose to read a book on the plane instead of watching a movie, which is what my normal method of operation is, right? I'm grateful that there's a book out there that captures my attention and I'm totally engaged on it. I'm grateful for my buddies at the beach that accept me holistically for who I am and let me chill. I'm grateful for after 20 years of knowing people in radio, we can still hug and cry and be together, even in a moment of vulnerability. Because I'm seeking out greatness, everything I do. And I'm grateful for all those that make me great. And the unintended yet beautiful consequences makes it very clear who in my life makes me great. Who is in my past, who is in my present, and who's going to be in my future. And from that, I have all the authority in the world. I get to set my own boundaries. I get to decide what greatness looks like and who I'm going to be grateful for. And who's going to be grateful for the person that shows up when I'm a unique individual that I am. No longer unapologetic. Not even going to say the word anymore. When I show up as authentic, who's grateful for me? And who has disdain for me? And for the people that have disdain for me, awesome. Last week when I taught my 4-hour workshop, 1/3 of the people didn't want to be there, didn't want to hear what I had to say, didn't want to participate. Awesome. Let me focus on the 2/3 of the people that were grateful that I was there. They were grateful for the opportunity to learn. They were grateful to see something from another perspective. I'm going to focus on that greatness. There's a hell of a lot more greatness in the world than there is in negativity. And this is coming from a reformed individual who loves negativity. I have a predisposition to point out all the negative in the world. And now I can preach from this pulpit of righteousness and say how great the world is. And I need to remind myself of that. I want to, not even need to, I want to remind myself how great the world is and how grateful I am. This week, my ask of you is simple. Do the fucking thing. Look at your life. What makes you great? What are you grateful for that makes you great? Second thing, tell the fucking world. And the world is whoever your world is. Tell the people that matter the most. Be specific. I told Emmy this morning, Emmy, you inspired me for what I'm going to talk about later today because you sent me a text on Friday afternoon that made me feel accepted and respected and loved and whole. Be very specific in your tells. And then show up. Stand up. Show up uncomfortable in the world. Be naked. Be yourself. For when you walk in the arena as you, your authentic self, people will feel it. They may not understand or agree. Matters not. They'll accept the fact that you are authentically you. You are great. And you are grateful for those that make you great. Les Brown, my favorite keynote motivational speaker in the world, says there's greatness within you. You get to decide what brings out that greatness. Thank you. I am grateful for you being here this week. Continue to be great. And we'll see you next week.
Through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.